Hello, and welcome to our Yoga Hero Teachers podcast. This podcast has been designed to help yoga teachers teach with passion, avoid burnout, and earn a fair living. This episode is all about overcoming imposter syndrome as a yoga teacher. Do you find that you have endless passion to share yoga with people? You have so many ideas fueled by the practice of yoga, but that you're held back by self-doubt. You worry you have a lack of authority, a lack of knowledge, a lack of experience. You think, why would people want to come to my classes? Why would people want to learn from me? This podcast episode explores what imposter syndrome is and how to overcome it. And we have our 3-day Shatter Imposter Syndrome Challenge, which goes much more into detail about what imposter syndrome is, how it can affect you, big things and little things that you can do in your life and in your teaching to beat imposter syndrome. To join this Shatter Imposter Syndrome Challenge, simply go to yogahero.co.uk/shatter. We'll start off today with a look at what imposter syndrome is and the impact that it can have on our lives, before looking at how to reduce and overcome that impact. Okay, let's get going. The definition of imposter syndrome is a phenomenon in which people feel that they're not worthy of their success, and they have a persistent belief in their lack of ability, skills, or competence, despite evidence to the contrary. Let's break that down. People feel that they're not worthy of their success. So it's a feeling, not a fact. It's open to your subjectivity, your views, your interpretation, but it's not fact. Success. As we go through this episode and through the challenge, keep in your mind, what do you think success looks or feels like? How do you see success in others and then in your own life? Just let this be ticking over in the background. Persistent belief in lack of ability, skills, or competence. This links with self-worth and with comparison with others. But the key word here is belief. Again, it's not fact. A belief is something that can be changed, despite evidence to the contrary. This is what indicates that the facts are different to the belief or feeling. Let's go through the definition one more time, having broken it down. A phenomenon in which people feel that they're not worthy of their success, and they have a persistent belief in their lack of ability, skills, or competence, despite evidence to the contrary. Imposter syndrome commonly manifests in the following ways: overworking, overpreparing, avoiding new things, procrastination, self-doubt, insecurity, perfectionism, self-criticism. All these feelings and experiences are part of being a human, but any combination of some or all of the above, when experienced often, can and will affect your life. Now let's take a moment here to remember that we're sharing yoga, something that has endless possible benefits to people, something that helps people live with less pain, less stress, more presence. So when we are held back by imposter syndrome, it doesn't benefit anyone, not us, not our yogis, not our potential future yogis. So it really is important to overcome it. This podcast has been created to help yoga teachers teach with passion. So teaching yoga, not held back by self-doubt. We're not looking to completely remove all nervousness. We're not looking to replace acute imposter syndrome with acute confidence. but we are looking to find a healthy place in which we can confidently share our knowledge of yoga without being paralyzed by anxiety, without working ourselves into the ground, overworking and over-preparing. A small element of nervousness is helpful. It keeps you on your toes and ensures that what you're delivering has value to it. But those experiencing imposter syndrome often mistake those feelings of apprehension and nervousness as a sign that they haven't prepared enough. But actually, the apprehension is a sign that you care. Okay, so now we know what imposter syndrome is, the different ways that it might manifest in you, and how it impacts on our ability to teach yoga. So now we want to look at the ways to overcome imposter syndrome. Create a fact file of successes. A fact file of successes is a document or a physical folder or a folder on your computer that you can access anytime to provide evidence to yourself that you are successful. And the reason that you're successful is because of your ability, skills, and/or competence. Your fact file might be full of things that make people green with envy, or it might be more like run-of-the-mill things that were hard for you, but you achieved them anyway. No one ever needs to see this list. The sole purpose is to provide you with your own evidence base. Remember, imposter syndrome is having a belief in the lack of ability, skills, or competence. So let's build an evidence base to the contrary that you can't argue with. Gently push your boundaries. In your yoga teaching, get out of your comfort zone, but comfortably so. Only you know where you are now, what boundaries you have in place, and where you want to be. Start slow and start small. Pick a boundary and gently nudge it and nudge it and nudge it until it disappears completely. And start today. Maybe that's booking in teaching a workshop on something that you love that you've avoided teaching before. Maybe it's enrolling on a course. Maybe it's announcing something on social media, whatever. When, or if, probably when, you get a doubting, nagging feeling, just pause, notice the feeling in your body, acknowledge it. Remember, apprehension is a sign that you care. Breathe deep and continue. Remember, one of the ways that imposter syndrome can manifest is as procrastination. So no dilly-dallying. You probably already know what you want to do, what you dream of doing. So go, 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 let's go do it. Journal. You might like to journal this process. Let's say you want to put on a workshop to help office workers reduce their stress levels. You think of a name, write up the blurb, and just as you're picking a date, your imposter syndrome starts up. This workshop sounds pants. You're going to have to make it more exciting, or you're charging far too much. No one will pay that with your lack of experience. You get the picture. Write down these thoughts. Sometimes seeing them on paper removes all their power. Breathe deep and carry on. Social media cleanse. Oh, comparison is the thief of joy. Be mindful when scrolling that A, you are looking at people's highlights, and B, if there's anyone that makes you feel bad about yourself, just unfollow them. You can always refollow them when you've done more work on overcoming imposter syndrome. Ask for feedback. Ask your yogis for feedback. Why do they come to you instead of another yoga teacher? Or instead of doing something else entirely, like going to the pub or watching TV? And this feedback might go straight into your fact file of successes. All of these ways to overcome imposter syndrome are laid out, talked through, and added to in our challenge. So come join us. Just visit yogahero.co.uk/shatter, and to confirm, it's completely free. Let's recap. Imposter syndrome is most certainly a thing, but it can be overcome. And by doing so, you'll be benefiting yourself, your current and your future yogis, and maybe even your loved ones too. Overcoming imposter syndrome isn't a quick process. It's something that you need to attend to over time, and it's not linear either. You'll have days where you're super confident in your ability, and you'll have days where you just want to hide somewhere because you're feeling so exposed. If in doubt, start small. Build on the work you've done over time, motivated by the fact that overcoming imposter syndrome will make your yoga teaching even more enjoyable and even more effective. That's all for now, lovely teachers. See you soon for our Shatter Imposter Syndrome Challenge. Can't wait. We'd love to know how you're finding these episodes and if they're helpful. Please do let us know by emailing hello@yogahero.co.uk or sending a DM to Yoga Hero Teachers on Instagram. And as always, happy teaching.